We are dot on time. We are starting off as promised at 12 noon. Uh, Thank you all. Welcome to this wonderful session. Uh, let me take the opportunity to talk about the technology crystal ball. Um, the webinar series is brought to you by NAM Info Inc., an IT services and staff augmentation firm based out of New Jersey. Our objective is to bring all aspirants in the infotech space to talk about the evolution of technology and how it is shaping the future. As we navigate the pandemic and the paradoxes, most importantly, it poses in the work from home culture, we believe it is important to discuss the topic at hand. The platform is open to discussion. We welcome ideas, suggestions, uh, to make it more valuable to everyone. Uh, we have also invited experts to talk to share their knowledge and understanding of how individuals can shape their careers and prepare for what the future has in store. Without further ado, I invite the CEO of NAM Info Inc., Mr. Vinay Mahajan, to take over, along with our esteemed panelists, Mr. Prabhat Singh and Mr. Anil Algol. Just a reminder, we are going to mute all attendees during the webinar, but please feel free to message us your questions in the Q&A section or the chat windows of the Zoom platform, or you can even connect to us with your questions on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Uh, you know, we are also live on Facebook, so you can connect from the Facebook session live as well. So Vinay, over to you. Thank you for joining, and it's all yours now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it is my pleasure to welcome our panelists, Mr. Anil and Mr. Prabhat, to the first webinar by NAM. Just to give my brief background, I'm the president and CEO of NAM Info Inc. NAM Info Inc. is a 20-year-old company in IT consulting space. We are actually having offices in Canada, in US, and in India, and we are also in the technology space. We are doing some product development. We have some patent in our name. One of our latest product is OurNRI, which is a community platform for the Southeast Asian community, and is going to be launched very soon. It's an e-commerce platform. So hopefully we'll be making those announcements in the near future. And today's this technology crystal ball is basically is a series of webinars which we are going to do on various types of technology. And this is the first one which we are basically doing on the agile. And we have two experts from that industry right now who are going to actually keep you very busy. It's going to be a very interactive session. As Arvind said, there'll be some question answer which will be asked by me as I'll be the moderating, and then we'll pick up some questions from the audience. Okay, so when you are putting up your question, please put it in the chat window, or you can also raise your hand and put it in the question answer basically window. So looking forward to a great session. So let me introduce the panelists right now. And first I'd like to introduce Mr. Prabhat. Okay, he has been in US for almost 3 decades. Hi Prabhat. And he's an enterprise agile coach, a safe program consultant, and agile educator, right? He has a very interesting background. He has also worked or is working as a police officer in Florida. I'm sure we'll be talking about that experience also. So I would rather leave it to him to give more of his introduction. So Mr. Prabhat, can you please go ahead and give a little more brief about yourself?
First of all, hello everyone and thanks for joining. Nothing great about me, but again, since I have to say whatever is relevant here, I would love to share with you all. My name is Prabhat Singh. I grew up in Bihar in India, came to US about 30 years back, and since then I have been working with different companies trying to transform their business process from SDLC to waterfall, working with newer technology, helping them launch new product and services that is not available in the market, but the future will demand that. In my spare time, um, I spend my time on sea beach because I'm basically from Florida, where I lived in Miami, if you are familiar with that. And I work as a police officer in Miami. I run marathons. I try to work with the radio station, and that's a summary of what I do. If anything interests you, you can ask me, and if not, we can try to cover the main agenda of the day. Somehow I'm unable to hear
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Mahajan.
sorry. I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself. Thank you very much for this introduction. And now I'd like to introduce our second panelist, Anil. And Anil is a release, team engineer, and he has been part of some of the largest tech implementation like 5G, artificial intelligence, machine learning. His passion is to learn new things and share his knowledge. He has been coaching and enabling individuals in space of agile and to be Scrum Masters. So Anil, why don't you give a little more brief on your, experience?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Anil Algol. I'm a release train engineer, which is next step to the Scrum Master. So currently I'm working on 5G technology, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And I like to read a lot of books and coach Scrum Masters on emerging technologies and also on servant leadership and lean agile practices. And
Thank
I
you,
have,
Anil.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
think
start. Please go
in
ahead.
I come from Hyderabad, India, and moved to US in 2000. And it's been a great ride working on great technologies. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Anil. And I think let's go ahead and start our session. So I'm going to start with my first question to, Mr. Prabhat. So, you have a very interesting biography of being a cop, sorry, and now being an enterprise agile coach. How difficult was the transformation? Okay.
In
And
fact,
why you chose what you are doing now?
wow. In fact, this was very easy and incremental. I explored my life incrementally. I tried different things to see what is my real passion, what will make me happy. And then that a part of that was joining the police force. It's not very drastically. Of course, growing in India, I had a craze to join in law enforcement. At that time, I was young. I was curious. How do we trace people? What happens when somebody stops and then police swipes the driver license in his machine? What do we track about a person, suspect, and how the law enforcement work? But eventually, I realized what was the core goal. Core goal is that hard work does not get us anywhere. Excuse me. We have to be innovative and planning. So we have to find out a problem and offer a unique product or service that is not available in the market. We tried two or three times. Once it's successful. From Elon Musk to Bill Gates, everybody tried that. They are much higher than us, but bottom line. And we see that problem is there in our life, at work, in organization, and in nature. Nature has pretty much found the solution for every problem they have. So whatever problem we have in our life, if we can find where that exists in nature, how nature takes care of that, then it will be very easy to address that. This was the concept when I joined police force. For example, the way body fights infection, if police can fight crime, that would be better. So rather than waiting for crime to happen in Miami and then taking an action about it, We started like a vaccine, inject little bit of crime in the society, put a bait car and just wait for who are the people interested in the bait car. Once we catch them easily, then we find out the network and destroy it. So that concept. And same thing is scalable in the organization, and how organizations are having challenges, why new companies are coming up with a new product like Zoom, how the old companies are getting shut down like Nokia, and the root cause is the same. They did not adapt to the new innovation. There is a word called TQI, technology quotient. We have to be successful based on three things: our IQ, our emotional IQ, and our technology IQ, which is TQI. And you can Google and YouTube technology quotient. So the bottom line is TQI means find out how technology is changing the human behavior from WhatsApp to Wi-Fi, and then try to launch a product that does not exist today but future will demand it. Generate the skill set for that, and then that's the shortest and sweetest path to success. So that is a journey of my life, from police to healthcare to agile enterprise coach. And now that I started enjoying it, I'm doing it for different company. Currently, I work for an insurance company in America called Allstate. The logo is you are in
Oh,
good hands.
that was fantastic. Very nice. Background or where how do you move from being cop to agile coach, right? Great. So you are currently engaged with several key projects. How is the industry evolving, Mr. Prabhat? This
Oh,
question is for you.
very fast. And we are fortunate to be in the active workforce at this time. Very fast. You see the news last 1 month itself. Everything was slowed down because of the COVID. And now, after the COVID, from SpaceX to Virgin Galactic, from retail, the drone delivery of Amazon shipment to insurance product. Everything has changed drastically in last 2 months itself. Now we are thinking for a paid passenger in the space 1 hour from US to Tokyo via Virgin Galactic and those kind of things. And now coming back into the lower level, the skill set that is needed has totally changed. The gain product that we need has totally changed. And whatever we have been used to will go away. From car to trucking to business. For example, I work for Allstate Insurance, right? And we provide insurance for individuals who drive their car. Very simple. What can technology change for us? We thought so. But no, in 2 months, we have drastically re-engineered ourselves, or we are working towards it, because we have Tesla's driverless car. In everywhere in the US, or I don't know in which other country, pizza delivery to Amazon delivery is in driverless car. When my car is driverless, why do I need to have a liability insurance? Do you see? Now you can think of what would we need, and the first insurance company to come up with that and launch will be a successful, like Apple phone. So the way technology is changing is very drastic. This is accelerating after the COVID, and people, the early birds, are making their fortune out of it. That's a summary of it, and we have to explore our own segment. That's a
That's
summary of
very
what I wanted to say.
Yeah, but to on the particularly how it is impacting the agile landscape. That will be my follow-up question, right? Okay. I know the industry is changing. How it is affecting the agile landscape?
Agile is the only way we can sustain. So, hey, let me request Arvind to show the PowerPoint presentation. Arvind, is that conveniently possible? Okay, so we had, starting from here, we had a business need to listen to the music. The need is fixed. And then the science gave us gramophone, then record player, then cassette player, then CD player, then our Pandora box. And then each technology kind of put a sunset on the previous one. This is only possible, the way new technology came, the way smartphone come, The company that can launch a smartphone fast enough will survive. Otherwise, they will sink like number one cell phone company, Nokia. We used to have the big clock, and Switzerland was number one in clock manufacturing. Now, Apple is number one watch manufacturing. So, my point here is that the 70% of work was assembly line on clock manufacturing. Now, 70 to 80% is product manufacturing in Apple's watch manufacturing. Now, when everything is software driven, product wise, the lead time decide who will survive and who will not. And lead time can only be supported by agile. Unless we are US Army, where we do not care about the cost or customer, we have to be agile. And therefore, the people who have agile skill, who are capable of working on agile skill, will survive. That means think what the future will lead. Elon Musk, think that solar power, that's a Tesla new model, and then try to launch that by lean manufacturing, make one or two iteration. In 1995, he was a penniless person, came from Africa. In 2006, after his divorce, he was again bank balance zero. So from 2006 to 2020, he became the richest person of the world, totally out of his own innovation and trying out things. Hey, just a side discussion. I live in Texas, Dallas, Texas, so does Anil. And not very far away from here, there is a city called Boca Chica. You can Google it, Bocachica. It's a very small village, or it was a small village, until recently somebody bought a house for $50,000. And $50,000 is less than what a Tesla cost. And this person is Elon Musk. He bought a house for 50,000. He lives there because he is making it a center of all galactic services, because that city is in US and is closest to equatorial, so closest to the center of Earth for projecting the planes in the space. So my point is that one innovation, one feasibility study, agile development changes the history. And that's why agile is going to be the key role in the next 5 years to survive or not survive.
Let me change gear a bit. So let me ask some next question to Anil. Anil, you have been into high value project delivery. Now you're a Scrum Master yourself and release trainer engineer. What made you shift your role? Anil.
You know, I was in the development team as a lead, and it was getting hectic and hectic. Then I thought of shifting gears and see how I can be relevant in technology and stay involved in technology at the same time, use my IT experience. So being in a role that I would love to work every day is what my motive was. I cannot lie to myself every day and just work for money. You know, Steve Jobs' quote reminded me to find a work that I can like. So our work is going to take uh, a large part of our life. So the only way to do great things is to do what we love. So that's why I've chosen to become Scrum Master, and I really enjoy doing the work and impacting both the IT and business teams and adding value to the customer at the same time.
Unmute myself. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm muting in between myself so that there's no noise coming. So, sorry, I had to unmute myself. So that's good. But so what are the, let me ask you, the a little more detailed question on this. So what are the kind of, opportunities, or you kind of, I'm sure you are in this landscape for a good amount of time. So what kind of opportunities do you see in terms of the career growth as well as in terms of the technology growth, changes in the technology in terms of tools, in terms of, in terms of maybe the future frameworks, future tools, and as well as the career opportunity. And I know everything is fast changing nowadays, right?
Sure. I would see the three things: artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data space or deep learning areas where all the jobs will be in the future. Um, Everything will get automated. We can see all the commercial flights are now being driven by AI. That's why you see very less number of crashes. And also, um, in the space of Scrum Master and release train engineer, there is a huge need. Every year around 25% need is there for Scrum Master and release train engineer until 2030.
Okay. And what are the kind of tools and kind of framework you're expecting in the future? Any changes, or I'm sure everything is changing, the field is changing. So what are you expecting in agile area?
I'm seeing a lot of technology in the area of data science, machine learning, and Python and Java being the primary languages that will be in terms of frameworks or algorithms or tools and technologies. Um, Machine learning, data science, and if you go deep inside machine learning, it would be deep learning as well, including artificial intelligence. These three areas will dominate in terms of technologies and tools.
Okay, that's interesting. I think so. Basically, in terms of Arvind, do we have any questions from the audience right now, or there's nothing?
There's a question about career opportunities for Scrum Masters. What is the demand for Scrum Masters? Mr. Prabhat, you can throw some light on that.
Sure. Let's see. Last 1 year, when we all were talking about COVID, something was going on. Solar batteries become much cheaper, much feasible, so the truck and solar planes are now possible. Technology, just like Anil mentioned, 5G AI was launched, which simply Neuralink was launched, which simply means that now the car that is self-driving can make a decision based on a dog on the street. This was not possible. This was not possible because the connectivity between car and the server was not fast enough. Now we have 5G. This was not possible because car did not have an emotional brain of his own. Let's call edge computing, which is now possible. Now that everything is going to be agile, we need non-technical people with managerial skill, regardless of past experience. Fresh graduates are equally better. If you are just it's almost like a quick MBA. So think about that. If one Scrum Master is managing two teams, that means every 10 technical person that you see in India or everywhere, there would be a Scrum Master. Simple. And these Scrum Masters did not exist before because Scrum was not there before. Now people with managerial skill without having any technical background can quickly switch to this role, and that's, you can now figure it out how much of a big demand that will come.
Listen here.
Hey, so I'm already technical, why should I become a Scrum Master? There is a position for both of them. Yes, you don't have to. Okay, but a doctor in army cannot be chief of army staff. Therefore, a technical person cannot lead a agile organization. Simple. Second is personal preference. Just do whatever makes you happy. For me, to me, traveling worldwide, going to Switzerland, going to Honolulu, going to Canada, and getting paid for there to have a skill that I can apply worldwide was important. If something like that is important to you, if you watch Bollywood movie, Yes Chopra movie, and then you want to go to Switzerland and somebody else to pay for it, that's possible with a generic skill set like Scrum Master that is needed in every country without requiring a separate license. Doctors are needed too, but they need to start all over again in their licensing process. They are not globally accepted skill set. So I think I answered.
Yeah, just a related question that's come up. How important is it for everyone in the team, from developers to managers, to understand the agile frameworks and practices as such?
Okay, very good one. So the success or survival of any company depends on the activity ratio. Hey, buddies, note it down Google if you are not very clear, or you can ask me. Activity ratio and defect. The success is depends on the teams that are working towards that product. For Apple phone is manufactured by teams in 6 countries, so that everybody works in exactly same manner, and there's a team independent, person independent process. Everybody must have the same understanding. Therefore, agile framework. We have to have the same way, so that every team in every country is working in the same manner, and they are putting their final output together to bundle as one Apple phone 12. Otherwise, left hand would not know what right hand is doing, and then things will go.
Very interesting. Yes. Uh, uh,
I
I've
will I
got.
will ask a little more detailed question on this, and because I think in some of our discussion earlier, we did talk about that the agile probably can be in three different types: technology, business, and process. Right? Okay. So you were talking. I think in one of our individual discussion we talked about it. So can you throw some more light, Mr. Prabhat, first you and then Mr. Anil, right?
So now there is a agile, okay? And agile framework has different role, and the most confusing thing is which role is good for me. And that's a very important, because if you take the wrong step, if you take the dentistry and later you wanted to be an eye doctor, it's almost impossible. You have to start all over again. So let's start. A company to keep in business goes through 11 steps shown on the screen. Wow. And in the implementation roadmap for a company from waterfall to agile, you see all the diamonds. They are the skill set needed in that phase. When they will need a scrum master, when they will need a release train engineer, likewise. And there are, just to confuse us more, 14 different certification or skill set from agile safe that we need. And yes, we cannot have uh, sometimes inconsistent skill set. I'm giving a very simple example. We all fly in plane, right? So in the airline, in Air India, there are three type of people. People who do these sales, who meet customer, who sell ticket, who check in your baggage. Let's call them business people. The second are people who follow the process, who fly the plane, pilots, right? And the third one is people who make the plane fly, the technician, air traffic controller, right? So like in Agile, we have three groups: business, process, and technical. Now in each group, there are different level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and all together there are about 14 certifications. First thing only you can do is decide, ask your heart, what will make you happier? And that has to come from heart, not from the brain. If you love to grow business, if you love to think what future will need, launch a new product, then the business side will be helpful. Or say product owner, product management, and LPM in that. With all due respect, ladies who want to have a skill set that they can take to any cities, they want to be in the same city with limited technical interface. They want to do the planning, sprint planning, and then again they want to be free working from home for 2 weeks. The PO, product owner role, would be important. If you can think what future will need, if you are okay to work remotely, it's fine. The downside is that you must know the business you are in. If you are in airline PO, you need to know how airlines work and you have to learn it. If you are in railway, if you are in military, if you are in manufacturing, if you are in Walmart. And if you have to change your job, changing city is easy. If you have to change your job, you must find a job in the same industry. It's not in this industry independent. A technical role is where you love what you do. You do know Python, you know Java, you know Pega. You enjoy your work. You want to improve efficiency. You are the tech leader. Go for it. Air traffic controller. The only thing is that it is less likely for you to change the country because you will go, the job will go to the country where labor rates are low. Simple. And you will be with the team. And every 3 to 5 years, you have to change the technology, right? When Power Builder was launched in 1995, that was the end. CSP end. You may not know what Power Builder is. So every 3 to 5 years, a new technology comes, skills are obsolete. You have to start the process all over again, compete with younger generation, and keep doing and doing until you want to retire. The third thing is process. Process is like pilot. And you need to know what are the different tasks to be done, what is the goal, who is supposed to do what and when, so that you can supervise them. You don't have to do anything yourself. You don't need to know how to do it yourself, but at least you need to know when, who will do what, so that the whole product is on time. That is the process, like a Scrum Master. Now, we cannot be the pilot and the air traffic controller at the same time. We all know that, right? So once we define the group, then from the business group is called, you can note it down, SA, Safe Agilist, then PO, then PM, then LPM. Likewise, and some government and some sales roles also. In the Scrum Master, in the process, you have the Scrum Master, SSM, Senior Scrum Master, SASM, then even more, RT, like Anil is. If you go in the technical role, you have the Safe Practitioner, then Safe DevOps, then Safe Architects, and so forth and so on. I think I took very long route to answer this, but now you have to decide which group will make you happy, and then based on your other experience, you decide the level to start your career with, and then go on.
Thank you, Prabhatji. I think I understand that way that domain experience is very, very important. But there are still three fields to choose from, right? So yeah. One is you said business, second you said the process, and third one you said technology. I can understand that when you are in the technology, you need to have some background of technology. But for the business and for the process, like a path, right? So what kind of educational background will be okay, right?
I would suggest bachelor's degree is a must for business and process. People skill and management skill is a key to success for process. Knowledge of industry and how other competitors are doing is key for the business, the product owners, right? Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, nobody could complete their college degree, right? Nobody could complete their master's. You all have done. We are better, right? No. So in the process leadership like them, you need to know when, how to interact with other parties and stakeholders, and when and how to foresee the future innovation to make it happen.
Thank you, Prabhat. Anil, now let me ask you a question from, because you are still in the industry in a big way. So what are the where do you see more demand? Is it in the technology path, process path, or the business path, right? There are three different paths Mr. Prabhat has given, right? So what are the...
4 team members, I would say: DevOps, product owner, Scrum Master, and release train engineer. These are the 4 key roles which add value to the business and IT teams, at the same time the customer. So when we imagine, let's say, lean agile processes, when we implement them correctly, what are we trying to do? Let's imagine a lean process where at the beginning of the line, you have the requirements. Similarly, when a car is manufactured, you have spare parts and at the end of 2 miles, you have a Lexus coming out of that production line. So same thing applies to IT as well. We want to deliver value to the customer, and the business promises the customer that they are going to deliver that Lexus. And it is the responsibility of the IT people, especially the product owner, to have a vision for the product, and the Scrum Master is responsible for delivering the product. Product owner defines what he needs. He needs a Lexus or BMW, but it's the Scrum Master who delivers along with the team. So it's a teamwork, and the value is delivered by the Scrum Master.
Thank you, Anil. Anil, there is a question from audience for you, and that is from Mr. Jairaj Alango. And question is, what would be your suggestion for anyone to dive into the machine learning AI technology pool? So, did you get the question? What will be your suggestion for anyone to dive into the ML and AI technology pool? So, what are the opportunities in that area? That's the question, basically.
Yeah, there is a huge opportunity. There are multiple areas: data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. I would say Python is the way to go. If you ask me to choose one language, it is Python.
So you are saying Python is going to be competing with Java, or is already competing with Java?
It's already competing, but they are complementary to each other. They both will continue to exist. Java, Python, and in some cases, C and C++ as well in the video game areas.
I'll continue with one more question with you, Anil. And you had a switch over from code development initiatives to be a release train engineer. How much challenge a person will face in doing this kind of change, right? I'm sure there are other people looking for similar kind of change. So they may get some, insight from your experience, right? Okay.
Yes. So I think the development team members, including the lead and the team members themselves, have a great chance because they understand the ins and outs of product development. They know what are the issues. They know what are the technical difficulties they face every single day with the environment, with the team members. They go through all those challenges, spend weekends working late hours to deliver the software. So they know all the pain points, and they are the right people to lead or become a scrum master. Just like, in olden days, Chanakya chose a normal person and made him a king. Similarly, a regular developer can lead the team and become the process owner for the team because they clearly understand what are the pain points.
Thank you very much. Let me switch to Mr. Prabhat. We've been talking about the opportunities in Scrum Masters area, and you did discuss about some of the certifications also in the Scrum Masters, right? Okay. So now, so what do you think are what are the new innovative products and with great solution coming into the market right now? Okay, where these certifications, particularly the Scrum certifications and maybe the agile coaching you are doing is going to be very critical, right? Okay, and I know Mr. Anil already said about machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? Okay, but maybe you can elaborate a little more on that, right? Okay, so there's so many new innovative products and great solutions coming into the market right now.
Very good question. I think Anil indirectly already answered that. Everyone, look at Mr. Algol. He is a living example of how he took advantage of that. He was in the general IT project management, then he transferred into the process area. Now he has become a release train engineer. If that is something excites you, then you get the answer. But again, formal answer will be it's a golden gate for somebody who has just plain and simple bachelor's degree of anything, of anything. and you have basic people skill, and of course you can speak English, that will give you the enough input that you can work hard for 2 weeks, maybe 1 month, and then establish yourself as a scrum master. I already mentioned that if every scrum master is managing two teams, we need one scrum master for every 10 technical IT resource. And now you can do the math. There's a role that did not exist before. This is the role that does not need industry knowledge. Today you are in airlines, tomorrow you join elsewhere. This is the role that is geographically independent. Today you are in one country, tomorrow you are in another country. This is the role where you can vertically grow up and become the, rather than working with a team, you can lead a team underneath you. So we all have to age, right? As we age, we can port this skill. If I am a technical Java programmer, Anil, with all due respect, if I'm an expert Python programmer, there is no guarantee that 5 years later, Python will still be the number one skill. So I would have to reinvent. So in Scrum Master, that's the advantage. We don't have to start all over again. It's not a circle, it's just a gradual inclination.
Very
That's all.
interesting. So you are saying, you mentioned earlier also that if you have English knowledge, you are a graduate, even MBA or maybe a, engineering graduate, and this is one field. I mean, for a fresh guy also, this could be some very interesting field. So just keeping the fresh people in mind. So can you give some more perspective on what kind of courses they can take? And you said 2 weeks time it will probably require to get the training, and probably get into the market. So just give a little more elaborative input on that.
Yeah. Taking one step backward, it's very simple. Business people know what to be done, technical people do it. Then who needs a scrum master? Okay, just remove the security guard for 1 day from the bank and then see what happens. So these two people do not effectively communicate, and there is always a delivery issue. Either the requirement was missed or coordination was not there. Therefore, we need a scrum master. Now, I said 2 weeks. If somebody does not have a work, he's committed, he can just continuously study. Yes, I feel that 2 weeks of hard work and right coaching is very important. Safe certifications are available in pretty much every country. You have to go there, enroll for the class, take 16 hours of class. If you complete the class, then you are eligible to take a practice test. If you pass that practice test within 30 days, then you are eligible for the final exam. When you pass that, you get the certificate and the tools and license to practice Scrum Master for another year. If he is not there, I'll continue. So that's one thing. Now you can go to Scaled Agile Framework and then find out a list of, okay, these are the 14 certificates. You have to go by what your heart says based on description and then pursue one. If you want to be in the product line, then again, based on your age and your experience, you can be a LA, Lean Agilist, or a product owner, or a product manager, or a LPM, Lean Product Manager, different levels. Here, I would like to caution you. These courses are available online as well as in person. We all know that. When you enroll at SafeSite, there are so many training in your city or in person or online available. When you enroll, be watchful. Be watchful. Sometimes it happens that when you enroll and pay for, either the training is rescheduled because there are not enough candidates, or they will sell your membership to somebody else. So 5 people are selling their classes and they do not have enough people, so they will try to sell you to somebody else, another institute. And now you are stuck with a new institute, new date, as per their fine print that we did not read anyway. And then one fine day, you are having an online course where instructor is in a different country. Yes, that happens. If that country, accent, and timing, if somebody is in Netherlands, somebody is in Tokyo, and somebody is in China, even if the time is working, sometimes accent, sometimes you are not comfortable enough to ask questions. So that is very important, learning curve. So
That's,
take the training
so
from any of the safe certification provider who you know and can trust. Check with the past student how their experience was, and then you enroll for a class. Then
that's that's the
go with
important
the
factor. I think they need to check actually, right? Okay, the the what is the kind of the organization which is giving the training, right? Okay, and or the safe certification, right? And
yeah.
I had a question rather that do you said that I think sometime back that you need to renew your certification. Is it valid only for a period of time, like safe certification?
Yes, you need to renew your certificate or license and tool. What happens when you pass? You get the access to their site. You get free access to all the tools. Like you start at a new job, you need all the templates. You need to launch your first PI. You cannot create that. Everything is provided to you by Safe. License is for 1 year and you renew depending upon how much is the difference between your licensing version and the current license. If you are 4.0, right now it's 5.1 for Scrum Master, how much is the
Mhm.
difference? And yes, in simple terms, there may be a $75 annual renewal cost if you go with that.
Okay, but that's important to know that it has to be renewed, right? Okay, every
It
year,
has to
right?
be renewed. Yeah, every year. If you are prompt person, generally whenever the new version is launched, you have to go there, watch a video, certify that you watch the video and you understand the difference from your current version to next version, and you are upgraded. So version upgrade.
Okay,
And
very
if
interesting.
if you got carried away with your responsibility, and after 2 years you realize, or after 1 year you realize, in between 3 or 4 version has come and gone, then you have to do a mega jump. For that, you may have to come to class again. But again,
Okay.
if you are using it, you will not miss it. They will send you enough email to remind you of what's going on. Right now, the version is 5.1.
Thank you, Prabhat. Arvind, I will stop here in case there is any audience question, and then maybe I can proceed with my other questions.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, okay. Then, definitely a lot of, studies required in these areas, right? Okay. So I'll ask for recommendations for the books from both Prabhat as well as Anil, right? Okay. What are the books you recommend? And so, and the websites you recommend so that people can go and study, right? Okay.
We've got one question from Mr. Dan Pevney. He wants to know in what context do you see languages like Java being used? Prabhat or Anil, if you can uh, see if you can answer this. The question is, in what context do you see languages like Java being used?
I've moved away from technology, but I would say in artificial intelligence all the time. I see in my current project as well, Java and Python are the two major languages, along with .NET somewhere, and yeah, those are the three major technologies that I see all the time.
So I understand you were also mentioning that as a Scrum Master or as a release train engineer, you do not need to be completely into technology as such, because it's again you have different team members taking care of the technology. But does your lack of understanding of technologies weigh on the project in any ways?
I think you don't have to know how to do it, but you have to know what to do as a Scrum Master. You have to have a knowledge of what are the features going in and what you need to deliver. But mostly the leads are experts, the SMEs are there, the product owners are there for anything functional. um, the role of a Scrum Master comes in running the ceremonies properly, effectively, so that the cycle, which is defined by Mr. Edward Deming, plan, do, check, act. It's a four-step cycle. You do the sprint planning, you do the daily stand up, and you review, demo every sprint, and then you do the retrospective. So plan, you do, you act, I mean, you demo it, you check it, and then you act upon it. Like, what did we do well, and how can we improve? And we do that every 2 sprints. So that's the, and any impediments that the team is having within the team, outside the team. And within the team, Scrum is more like, we deliver as a team the value that the business is expecting. The individual roles are gone now. We deliver as a team, although the team leads most of the technical challenges for the team. The product owner takes care of any functionalities. Any SMEs will add any details, but the Scrum Master is responsible for taking all of them and delivering the Lexus at the end of the 2 mile, 2 week sprint.
One interesting question related to this one is, you've been referring to Lexus, and Mr. Prabhat has been talking of innovation and, Elon Musk's growth in the industry itself. Of course, nobody needs to know about Elon Musk, but while we are talking on the topic of emerging technologies, how do you see, what's the major impact that agile processes are causing on these emerging technologies, which are basically shaping the future?
Oh, my bad. Arvind, can you help me paraphrase, please?
All right. Now we are on the topic of emerging technologies which are shaping the future. Now, we've heard you talking about the kind of innovations Elon Musk's business does, or at the same time, coming up with a Lexus, which is a real high-end technology. How is Agile basically impacting, shaping this future?
Wonderful. And sorry, I was just carried away by a very nice question on Facebook. And the answer I was trying to give to that gentleman is MuleSoft and Xfinity on the integration platform. So, in case you can hear me. Now,
Okay.
coming back on that, right now, if I have to identify, give a name, a noun, which technology I see is the most potential, I will say three names. One is ML AI, machine language. Second is Neuralink. If you know, you might already be aware that Neuralink is a chip that can be implanted in the brain and with which you can control a machine by your thoughts. And it's not a hi-fi science fiction. Please Google. It's already in progress. And third thing is going away of internet in 2 years. That I see as a bigger thing. When Elon Musk said that he will have a solar car, everybody was laughing. When he said he will go to space, everybody was laughing. And now we see the reality is SpaceX. So removal of internet is called Starlink. And you might already be aware there is a long queue. Starlink is a set of 1,000 satellites, which maybe by next year will provide direct internet access to everybody at much cheaper, much reliable way, especially to the places and countries where internet cable is not available. Now, this is only possible with the agile approach. This is only possible where one company can work with all other companies and everybody is having the same framework. One is on SDLC, one is on OPODs, one is on waterfall. That would not work. Therefore, agile, therefore, framework, therefore, uniform and consistent understanding of skill. Did I answer it, or you would like me to go in more details?
I think it is done, answer is done very well. And I will say rather, another thing I think we were discussing that day when you said that 5G is another one, which is really, something so important, that technology from the agile framework angle, right? Okay, because, like 5G is also nothing but a Wi-Fi, which is almost like, seamless Wi-Fi, right? Okay.
Yes,
And Agile is
seamless
seamless
Wi-Fi and
development, right?
yes, okay. So again, so Anil mentioned this AI and 5G and edge computing. These are the three tools. A knife is a knife, whether we use it in the kitchen or in operation theater. So like when 5G is available or edge computing is available, we can do many things. We know kids, teenagers everywhere. They play video game that was not available when we were kids, right? The video game that simulates that many people sitting in the different countries of world are sitting together and playing in the real time. It was not possible. The same technology will allow us to operate on a patient by a doctor sitting in a different country. Now for that we have to build incrementally. When we have to, just like I mentioned that this year onwards we are having driverless car. Tesla's model is having driverless options. You buy in 6,000 more. When there is no driver in the car, there is no insurance needed. If there is accident, it's a software's fault. So now think of all the new product that will come and the old product will go away, just like record player to CD player. And then we can take the right role that we will enjoy. If you are not scared, if paying your bill was not a problem, what would you do for living? Just pursue that role in an agile framework, and that will make you happy and most likely rich also, but happiness is guaranteed. I came to agile because agile was the only role at that time that was allowing me to shut down my laptop at 5 p.m. with a smile on my face and driving home back without carrying my inbox in the back of my mind. So,
Very important point, right?
That's
You
right.
made, right? Okay. It's a life work balance, right? So probably
yeah,
agile technology helps into a life work balance also. So which is
yes,
very, very critical, I'll say, right? Okay.
yeah,
So excellent. I think thank you very much, all the panelists, Arvind. I think we are on time, on dot with our, I think, session. So Anil, you wanted to share some book, right? Mr. Parvat did share some link. So you wanted to share some book? You are
Anil, you
muted.
are on mute.
Yeah, please.
This is the book I would recommend everyone to read, Future Ninja. Very good book. If we haven't inspired you enough, I think this book will inspire you.
Okay, very nice name also, Ninja Future, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
And the second book will be on Scrum. Scrum, the art of doing twice the work in half the time. This book covers how FBI was able to implement their Sentinel project after 9/11 happened and now can track anybody anywhere in the world and catch them within days. So
Very good.
this, yeah, and other interesting projects as well were noted how Scrum was implemented from agile and lean technologies, including the third book I would recommend is the Toyota Way. This is how lean is taken into software development. That's why I was referring to, Lexus development. Toyota spent 1 billion to enter the luxury market in 1980s, and now they are the number one company because they use lean practices, and that is coming to agile using SAFe, the certifications which Prabhat mentioned. So SAFe uses lean and agile both.
Excellent.
So
Thank you so much for sharing these books, right?
yeah.
So Arvind, I think we are probably done with our session. So you would like to close the session now?
Yes, thank you everybody for throwing so much of information at us. I would say it was a very enlightening session. I hope all the attendees could also get some information valuable to shape their careers because we are all in the same boat right now due to the pandemic. We are seeing how technology is taking over a lot of our activities because of work from home culture and work from remote locations. As I understand from what I heard, there are a lot of opportunities for agile scrum masters going forward. So I thank both Mr. Prabhat and Anil for sharing all the information, all the knowledge with us. Vinay, thanks for giving us this wonderful platform. We look forward to have a lot more, many sessions, which would be, a lot of learning experiences for everyone joining these sessions. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhat and Anil. I think it was a wonderful session. And, for the audience, both Prabhat and Anil. They are in this, they can really help you in agile technology area. And Prabhat is a very well-known agile coach. And Anil is also, he also loves educating, right? Okay, so I think if you have any needs, please get in touch with them. I think they have given their contacts over here. So you can go ahead and talk to them. And we are going to follow up with this. This was our first webinar in the webinar series on technologies. And I think already today in the chat, you saw machine learning and AI. These two subjects seem to be pretty hot. So hopefully we will come up with the next session, which will be focused on, more on the machine learning and artificial intelligence side, and look at what are the opportunities available in that landscape also. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you soon, right? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.